Those who claim there's no such commodity as a one-man team might find that viewpoint contested down on the south coast, where Matthew Le Tizier's Herculean efforts on behalf of Southampton may yet enable his team to stay up. This was his first goal against Aston Villa on 19 minutes after a determined run from Jeff Kenner. Towards half-time, Le Tizier intervened again with another telling contribution. This time from his accurate corner, Kenneth Monkow headed Southampton's second. On 58 minutes, Villa responded at last. Dean Saunders with a goal that spun in off defender Simon Charlton. Southampton nerves were eventually eased, though, with Le Tizier's second of the game. It arrived 13 minutes from time to bring his personal tally for the season to 23, exactly half the team's total. A minute later, Aston Villa's frustration boiled over. Goalkeeper Nigel Spink sent off for bringing down Ian Dowie with this crude challenge. Referee Stephen Lodge certainly felt he had no alternative but to send off the goalkeeper. Villa had already used both their substitutes, so Neil Cox, already on the field, had to go in goal. Wasn't too long before he conceded a goal. From Le Tizier's corner, Neil Madison scored Southampton's fourth and the ninth that Villa have conceded now in 2 matches. Southampton winners by 4-1. For much of the first half at Ellen Road, it was Leeds rather than Everton who resembled a team in trouble. Early on, Paul Rideout spurned this glorious opportunity for Everton. Next, it was the turn of Graham Stewart to waste a chance as Everton continued to dominate and Leeds continued to look very lethargic at the back. Everton's profligate finishing was to prove expensive. After an inspired substitution tipped the balance of power in Leeds' direction. The penetration down the flank of substitute David White served to open up Everton's defence. Gary McAllister's 8th goal of the season on 72 minutes signalled the start of Everton's decline. The second goal arrived 10 minutes later to heap further misery on an Everton side in very serious danger now of being relegated for the first time in 40 years. White was again their tormentor. Dave Watson sadly put through his own goal. If the scoreline flattered Leeds, they weren't embarrassed by it. Certainly not White, who crowned his own outstanding contribution with a brilliant goal right at the end. 3-0 to Leeds. Everton have 1 game left to try to save their season. They were certainly out of luck at Leeds. With Kevin Keegan's side still hotly pursuing a UEFA Cup place, there was no chance of Sheffield United expecting any favours from Newcastle. But the struggling Sheffield team was soon warming to their task. This was Paul Rogers heading straight at Pavel Srnicek. Sheffield United were urgently seeking some reward for their endeavours. Nathan Blake extended Srnicek again. Blake was looking the most likely scorer for Sheffield, with Newcastle a pale shadow of the side that swamped Aston Villa so easily in midweek. But Sheffield United at last secured the goal their efforts had warranted on 63 minutes, albeit a controversial one. Inevitably, the impressive Blake claimed it with a header from John Gannon's corner. Referee Joe Worrell ruling that the ball had crossed the line before Scott Sellers headed clear. On the replay, look for Sellers' feet, several inches behind the line before he headed out. All arguments, though, were ended in the dying seconds. Blake making certain of Sheffield's vital win with his second of the game, after his strength and a little good fortune had taken him clear of Alan Nielsen. Dave Bassett's side have lost only once in 11 games, and victory at Oldham on Tuesday might just be enough to keep them up. Oldham at Boundary Park, they lack the sharpness they need to repeat last season's act of escapology. Sean McCarthy, the guilty party on this occasion. Oldham were much the more positive side, but simply couldn't score. Graham Sharp thought he had, but Kevin Pressman in the Wednesday goal rescued his team with a fine save. Oldham went even closer in the 65th minute. McCarthy turning well, only to see his shot bounce back off the post. Oldham's manager Joe Royle has given his side a 45-point target for survival. That means they must win 2 of their 3 remaining games, all in the space of 5 days. At least there's one achievement still open to relegated Swindon, the chance of a league double over QPR, the first side to lose to the bottom club in the Premier this season. The early signs, though, favoured Rangers. Gary Penrice striking the bar on 20 minutes. Then, with Swindon reeling again, a header from defender Steve Yates suffered the same fate just a few minutes later. It was Swindon, though, who collected the first goal of the game. Just over an hour gone when Sean Taylor headed home a free kick from John Moncur. Rangers were soon threatening again, though. The veteran Ray Wilkins hitting the woodwork this time with 20 minutes left. Nicky Hammond in the Swindon goal doing well to get a hand to it. A minute later, Rangers did score at last. Wilkins supplying the chance for Les Ferdinand to score on his return to the Rangers side after injury. But Swindon quickly restored their lead. After Paul Bowden's cross had been headed onto a post by Keith Scott, Jan Fjortoft forced in their second. With full time approaching, Swindon made certain of their first away success of the season at the last opportunity. Nicky Summerby the scorer. At least Swindon have something now to celebrate.